The air at Yale felt heavy, thick with history, money, and power. I felt it settle on my shoulders the moment I stepped onto campus. 17 from New Orleans, I was a girl with a fire in my belly and a dream in my heart. But here, surrounded by ancient brick buildings, I felt small. The other students moved with an easy confidence, dressed in expensive clothes, speaking with old money accents. Their glances said it all: you don't belong here. I clutched my worn backpack, reminding myself I'd earned my spot. I was a debater, a fighter, I belonged. Portraits of old white men stared down from the walls, their eyes questioning my presence. I'd never felt so far from home, from the 9th Ward where everyone knew my name. Here, I was an outsider, a public school kid trying to compete with the best. The whispers followed me everywhere, about my school, my skin, my accent. Doubt tried to cling to me. I found my seat in the grand auditorium, velvet chairs and high ceilings making me feel even smaller. The other teams laughed easily, a club I wasn't part of. Loneliness knotted in my stomach. But I remembered my coach, Miss Dubois. Your voice is your power, Maya. Never let them silence it. And my grandmother, stand tall, baby girl. Your ancestors are standing with you. I took a deep breath. I wasn't just Maya Bellamy anymore. I was every kid from my block, every dreamer from a place people wrote off. I was here to speak for them. The weight didn't disappear. I decided to carry it. I would turn that weight into strength. The fight had just begun. My dream wasn't born in a fancy classroom. It started on a porch swing in New Orleans, listening to my grandfather talk about justice and the power of words. In my small public school, debate was an underfunded club, but we had passion, and Miss Dubois, who believed in me. The road to Yale was paved with hard work, late nights, a part-time job, and endless research. My dream was bigger than a trophy. I wanted to show the world that kids from the 9th Ward had something to say. I debated poverty and justice not as theory, but as reality. That gave my voice a power you can't teach. My dream was for my family, my community, every kid told they weren't good enough. Getting the Yale invitation was a victory in itself. My mother cried, my grandfather beamed, the whole neighborhood celebrated. I packed their dreams with me. I wasn't just a girl from New Orleans anymore. I was a warrior from the bayou heading into the heart of the elite. I was ready to make some noise. I carried their hopes every time I stepped up to the podium. The pressure was immense, but it was born of love. I was determined to make them proud. The first rounds were a blur of fast talking and intense arguments. I was winning, but the racism was in the details. Opponents' pitying tones, judges asking me to repeat words, whispers about affirmative action, all meant to make me doubt myself. I overheard students say, "She's only winning because of affirmative action." It stung. My hard work was dismissed as a handout. Debate topics favored their world, not mine. My lived experience was called too emotional. The game was rigged, but I kept winning. Each victory was rebellion. I refused to change my accent or stop talking about what mattered. But the constant battle was isolating. I missed my team back home. I was winning debates, but losing a piece of myself. The whispers were getting louder. The night before quarterfinals, my ace argument, connecting economic policy to redlining, was leaked online. Someone at the tournament had sabotaged me. My work, my soul exposed for all to see. Reporting it got me nowhere. Judges were dismissive. How can you be sure it was your argument? No investigation, no consequences. I was left alone, stripped of my best weapon, hours before a crucial debate. The injustice was suffocating. For a moment I wanted to quit, the whispers, the exclusion, and now this, it was almost too much. Tears of frustration and anger streamed down my face. They hadn't just stolen my argument, they'd stolen my hope. I felt exposed and defeated. The world seemed to say, "Go home, you don't belong." The weight on my shoulders became a crushing burden. In the sterile silence of my dorm, I felt utterly broken, but I wasn't done yet. The tears stopped. Despair turned to a simmering rage. Quitting wasn't an option. That's what they wanted. I looked at my reflection, tired, tear-streaked, but the fire was still there. They could steal my notes, but not my mind. I sat at my desk, the clock reading 1 a.m. The quarterfinals were in 8 hours. My case was gone. I had to start from scratch. I pulled up new articles, new sources, connecting dots I hadn't seen before. The sabotage forced me to dig deeper, think faster, be more creative. My best argument wasn't on paper, it was in my heart. I built my new case around the unfairness of the system itself. I would talk about sabotage, exclusion, and the desperate lengths people go to protect privilege. By dawn, I had it. Raw, honest, powerful. I hadn't slept, but I was more awake than ever. I'd rebuilt my case from the ashes, alone in the dark. I was no longer afraid. They tried to break me, but only made me stronger. I was ready for the fight. I would not be silenced. Maya entered the semifinal with a quiet confidence that unsettled her opponents. The topic: meritocracy in education. Her opponents argued success was all about individual effort. Maya stood, looked the judges in the eye, and said, "Let's talk about the reality when some of us have to build our own starting blocks the night before the gun goes off." The room fell silent. She spoke of whispers, exclusion, sabotage, without naming names. She exposed the myth of a level playing field. Her words were a torrent of truth. What is merit when your arguments are stolen in the dead of night? When your voice is dismissed because of your accent? She testified, connecting her pain to a larger critique. The judges leaned in, captivated. Diversity isn't a charity case. It's the only thing that can save us from the blindness of our own privilege. She sat down, heart pounding. The applause started slow, then grew. Maya had done more than win the round. She had changed the conversation. The room felt different now. She had made them listen. The final round was electric. Maya faced the tournament favorites, confident, entitled, dismissive. The topic is implicit bias, an insurmountable barrier to true justice. Her opponents argued bias could be overcome with laws and logic. Maya listened, then walked to the podium with purpose. My opponents say bias is a ghost we can legislate away. But for many of us, it's a shadow that follows us every day. She spoke not with jargon, but with her story. Being watched in stores, overlooked in class, her success questioned. She made bias real, undeniable. You can't overcome a barrier you refuse to acknowledge. True justice isn't colorblind. It's brave enough to see our different journeys and value them all. Her opponents looked rattled. Their arguments felt hollow. Maya had infused the debate with soul. The final bell rang. She stood tall, having left everything on that stage. She had demanded to be seen, and she was. The silence was deafening as the head judge took the stage. Maya's heart pounded. She had fought, rebuilt, spoken her truth. Whatever happened, she knew she hadn't failed. The judge announced, in a close decision, the winner of the Yale National Invitational is Maya Bellamy. A wave of emotion, shock, relief, joy washed over her. The audience erupted in applause. She had done it. A girl from New Orleans had won in the heart of the establishment. She'd faced prejudice, sabotage, and doubt, and emerged victorious. Some who once whispered now clapped for her. This victory was bigger than a trophy. It was a message. Your voice, your story, your truth, that is your power. Her win cracked the old hall's foundations, letting in more light for those who'd come after. Maya's story is a call to action. Stand tall, speak up, even when your voice trembles. There will always be doubters and walls, but like Maya, break them down. Use your story as a hammer, your truth as a battering ram. Your voice matters. Your experience is valid. Speak it loud, speak it proud, and never let anyone make you feel you don't belong.
What's something people don't know about stories? They never truly end. There's always a new adventure waiting for you. Just pick your next tale and I'll meet you there. Subscribe to the Story Circle and let me know which story I should tell next in the comments.